Something strange is happening behind the scenes of America's political stage, and it all starts with Dave Chappelle. When the world expected laughter, he delivered a revelation, one that shook the foundations of power and exposed a mystery hidden in plain sight. A story of silence, money, and control, where a grieving widow becomes the center of a storm, and the truth behind Charlie Kirk's death refuses to stay buried. The FBI's files are sealed. His parents have vanished from public view. And the only person left in the spotlight, Erica Kirk, seems untouched by it all. This isn't gossip. It's a pattern, one connecting influence, power, and the rewriting of a nation's narrative. Stay locked in, because what you're about to hear isn't theory, it's a timeline the media never wanted told. Before we find truth, hit that like button, share this video to wake others up, and subscribe so you never miss the truth the headlines won't print. Now, let's open what Dave Chappelle really saw, and why millions believe he was right all along. When Dave Chappelle spoke that night, the world stopped laughing. The comedy icon, known for turning truth into art, suddenly dropped a truth bomb that felt too raw, too direct, too dangerous to ignore. It wasn't part of his set, it was something deeper. He looked straight at the audience and said, "They're lying about Charlie Kirk." The room fell silent. Chappelle wasn't joking, he was calling out what he called the performance of politics. He claimed the FBI's official story surrounding Charlie's death was a production, a carefully scripted illusion made to keep the public docile and distracted. Then came the moment that sent chills through millions who later heard the leaked clip. Chappelle said Charlie's family aren't quiet because of grief, they're quiet because of fear. Instantly, social media exploded. Hashtags like #ChappelleExposes and #CharliesTruth dominated every platform. Journalists scrambled to frame it as another controversial rant, but people weren't buying it. This wasn't comedy, it was confession. Dave wasn't chasing clout, he was chasing clarity. And the more the mainstream tried to bury his words, the louder they spread. For the first time, the internet began asking, if Chappelle's wrong, why are they so desperate to shut him up? Because one thing was certain, this wasn't just about one man's death. It was about the machinery behind it. The cracks were showing, and the illusion was breaking. Within days, the FBI's official timeline began to crumble. Their report claimed the shooter, Tyler Robinson, scaled a rooftop, fired multiple rounds, then vanished, but witnesses painted a different story. The rooftop had no viable access, and Tyler, according to hospital records leaked online, was partially paralyzed from a prior accident. The physical impossibility sparked outrage. That's when Candace Owens stepped in. In a furious live stream, she accused federal agents of bold-faced deception, arguing the case had been edited, staged, and manipulated for optics. Her words echoed Chappelle's, but now, the story had legs. Citizen journalists began analyzing footage frame by frame, comparing timestamps, lighting, and even background noises. It didn't add up. The internet turned into a digital investigation hub, piecing together clues faster than the media could suppress them. Posts were deleted, videos flagged, and accounts banned, but the questions kept multiplying. Why were the timelines inconsistent? Why did the FBI refuse to release bodycam footage? And most importantly, why was Charlie's widow, Erica, the only one who seemed calm amid the chaos? Each contradiction pointed back to one unsettling idea: the truth had been rewritten. The cover-up wasn't speculation anymore, it was operation. And as the narrative unraveled, so did public trust. The story wasn't about grief anymore, it was about control. All roads now led to one woman who seemed to stand at the crossroads of tragedy and power, Erica Kirk. As the media circus spiraled, one figure stood calm at its center, Erica Kirk. Days after Charlie's death, she took the stage at a Turning Point event, dressed in black, her posture unshaken. Cameras zoomed in, waiting for a tear, a tremble, something human. But instead, what came out felt rehearsed. Her tone was polished, her words carefully measured, almost corporate. The internet noticed instantly. "That's not grief," one viral post read. "That's PR." But what truly ignited suspicion wasn't her speech, it was the figure standing behind her. A man, wearing what looked like a Turning Point security badge, but whose face didn't match any known staff member. His expression was unreadable, his stance protective, yet distant. Online sleuths began digging and soon discovered something chilling: that same man had been photographed at FBI field offices months before. Meanwhile, Candace Owens dropped another revelation, that Charlie had been warned not to attend the Utah event days before the shooting. The warning, she claimed, came from someone inside Turning Point. The official sign-off for that same event. Erica Kirk. Coincidence? Or coordination? Theories exploded overnight. Some claimed Erica was being manipulated by powerful players. Others accused her of being part of the plan. But one detail united everyone: she didn't look surprised. Her poise wasn't grief-stricken calm, it was the stillness of someone who already knew what was coming. And that raised a terrifying question: what did Erica know before that night? Then, the financial trail surfaced, and it changed everything. Anonymous documents leaked online revealed a $350,000 transfer wired to Erica just weeks before Charlie's death. The sender? A Delaware-registered shell company called Westfield Strategies LLC, dissolved quietly days after the transfer cleared. The internet went wild. No one could trace the company's real owners, but digital sleuths noticed its registration agent had prior links to defense contracting firms. The pattern was undeniable. Was it payment? Hush money? Or part of something far more complex, a setup? As if on cue, a grainy video clip surfaced online showing Erica leaving a restaurant late at night, meeting two unidentified men in suits. The clip lasted only 18 seconds before being flagged and scrubbed from nearly every platform for privacy violations. But the damage was done. Thousands had already mirrored it, slowed it down, and enhanced the audio. In one chilling frame, Erica appeared tense, her eyes darting, her lips pressed tight as one of the men handed her what looked like a small black folder. Within hours, hashtags like #EricaFiles and #FollowTheMoney trended across social media. Analysts compared timestamps and GPS data and found the meeting took place just 2 days after the mysterious payment cleared. Was Erica being paid to stay silent? Or was she the one controlling the silence? Theories split down the middle. Some said she was a scapegoat caught in a political trap, others believed she was the architect of a cover-up designed from within. But one thing was clear: this wasn't just grief anymore. This was business. After the initial shock of his first comments, Dave Chappelle didn't step back, he went further. In a later appearance, he spoke again about the Kirk case, suggesting that the official version of events wasn't just flawed but intentionally shaped. He questioned how quickly federal agencies had closed the investigation, how conveniently footage disappeared, and how power circles around Washington and media personalities had gone silent. His statements reignited online debate. Commentators described it as one of the few times a major celebrity risked everything to challenge the political establishment directly. Dave wasn't presenting evidence, he was demanding transparency. And that alone was enough to fracture the narrative. Within hours, investigative threads across social media exploded. Users began connecting dots between Turning Point donors, media executives, and undisclosed consulting firms suddenly appearing in Erica Kirk's business filings. It looked less like coincidence and more like coordination. At the same time, reports surfaced that Charlie Kirk's family had been excluded from all official memorial planning, something no one publicly explained. That silence, paired with Erica's rapid rise in public visibility, deepened the sense that something had been rearranged behind the scenes. Dave's message gained momentum because it spoke to a larger pattern: stories that start as tragedy often become instruments of control. And now, the audience was watching not a memorial, but a takeover. Barely a month after Charlie's death, Turning Point announced Erica Kirk as its new CEO. The decision came with no vote, no explanation, and no visible input from board members or longtime staff. For an organization built around Charlie's persona, the sudden handover was jarring. Insiders later hinted that key donors had insisted on stability, a vague term used to justify keeping internal operations quiet. But employees described it differently: a strategic power shift that sidelined anyone close to Charlie's family. Former staff claimed that entire departments were restructured under new consultants, some reportedly linked to political communications firms in D.C. Online investigators pulled company filings showing new corporate partnerships formed within weeks of Erica's appointment. The organization's messaging also changed. It became less outspoken, more polished, like a brand realigning with a higher sponsor's expectations. Observers noticed that Erica's public image was carefully curated. Every interview, every appearance, every word was measured, not emotional, not spontaneous. It was corporate precision. To the public, the transition looked smooth. But to those who followed the case closely, it felt engineered, like someone had planned the next move long before the tragedy even unfolded. By now, even skeptics began to admit the pattern was undeniable. The silence of Charlie's family, the vanishing data, the seamless corporate succession, all pointed toward something larger than grief or chaos. It felt like control had simply changed hands. As weeks turned into months, the silence from Charlie Kirk's parents became one of the most haunting parts of the entire story. No interviews, no statements, no memorial posts, nothing. The same media that once followed their family's every move suddenly stopped asking questions. It was as if they had vanished from public life altogether. Observers found that unsettling. Families often step forward during moments of tragedy, either to seek justice or to share memories. But this silence seemed imposed, not chosen. The Kirks withdrew completely while official channels moved forward with a new narrative centered entirely on Erica and her leadership. Online communities began searching for explanations. Some speculated that legal restrictions had been placed on the family. Others believed they had uncovered information that made them targets for pressure or intimidation. There was no proof, only the growing sense that something had locked them out of their own story. Meanwhile, Erica's profile continued to rise. She appeared at conferences, political galas, and televised interviews, always positioned as the resilient face of a movement continuing Charlie's legacy. Each appearance deepened the contrast, the polished widow in the spotlight, and the grieving parents kept in the dark. The absence of their voices didn't quiet the questions. It amplified them. Because in any story of loss, silence can speak louder than words, and in this case, it began to sound like warning. The online world became a digital battlefield. Forums, Reddit threads, and independent journalists launched their own investigations, determined to fill the gaps that official outlets ignored. Leaked documents, old interviews, and financial traces were dissected frame by frame. It wasn't chaos anymore, it was crowdsourced research. On one side, users argued that Erica was a victim of a larger political machine, forced into a role she didn't control. On the other, critics claimed she had actively engineered her position long before Charlie's death. Both sides agreed on one thing: the official story no longer made sense. Major platforms tried to contain the fire. Hashtags were throttled, videos removed, and entire channels demonetized for misinformation. But the censorship only strengthened the narrative that someone powerful wanted the discussion buried. Months later, as the headlines faded and attention drifted elsewhere, the mystery remained unresolved. The FBI never reopened its files. The organization under Erica's leadership continued to operate smoothly. And the Kirks, Charlie's parents, stayed silent. Independent journalists who attempted to revisit the story found doors closed. Some claimed records had been sealed or quietly removed from online databases. Others noted that event footage and public filings connected to that period had been archived unusually fast. The details of Charlie's final days, once the subject of national debate, had dissolved into fragments scattered across the internet. Yet, despite the silence, the conversation never truly ended. It persisted in online forums, podcasts, and late-night discussions among those who refused to believe the official version. They viewed the story as part of a larger pattern: how tragedies involving political or corporate figures often evolve into managed narratives, shaped by unseen interests. Erica's image remained polished and untouchable. Her appearances grew more limited but more controlled, each reinforcing her authority and composure. For her supporters, that was strength. For her critics, it was proof that the story's core, the human truth beneath all the noise, had been buried for good.